All right, we're testing, going live. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh. I think it's working.
Where are you?
Yeah, there I am. Look at my camera. Oh my gosh. I think we fixed it.
I think we fixed it.
I think we've fixed it. We are going to be testing this whole thing as we are doing this live podcast today.
I think it's because
just keep going.
I know why it's working. Because we've sprinkled some magical unicorn and Pikachu dust.
Yes, welcome to Creative Talk Podcast. We are here in our onesie day.
Yes.
Day. And we were actually supposed to go live this Thursday, but we've just had like crazy issues with trying our setup and making sure that it works and looks good and sounds good, because that's really important to both Amber and I.
Yeah.
And we're trying out some new things today. One of them is dressing up in onesies because it's actually cold.
Oh, it's freezing.
It's so cold here in Melbourne. It's not fun when it's freezing, and it's pretty freezing.
Yeah. So it's good to be in the onesies, good to be comfy. It is Saturday, so, we don't have to wear business attire.
No, we don't. No, we don't need to do any of that on a Saturday. Jeez. Especially after our training that we just had.
We did. We made it to training. There are only 5 of us. We made it.
Yeah, we're doing a 6-week challenge at the moment I don't even know why. We just are.
So that we can be punished for eating and stuff.
I really don't know why. I don't know why we're doing this.
No, we know why. Because we want to look like Robin and be skinny.
Robin is our trainer. And
AKA lean.
You just called him skinny.
I know, exactly. I'm allowed to now because he punished us.
I'm going to send this to Robin, and he hates it when you call him
Robin, get it, it's a compliment in many places around the world to be called skinny, so just accept it, mate.
Especially if you're from South Auckland. If you get called skinny, you're doing good, mate. You're doing good. But yes, we've been doing a 6-week challenge. We're almost at the end of that challenge, and I must say, I'm not only feeling good. I've lost a whole shirt size.
You look good.
I still have 20,000 shirt sizes to go, but I'm getting there.
You don't want to waste away to nothing now. Come on.
That's true. Well, I don't think that's possible.
No.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy it. I was dying today, but I'm glad that we went.
How long did you lie on the floor for?
Oh, at least half an hour.
Yeah.
That was before we started. But we made it. We made it through. Right, on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about some controversial stuff within the spiritual community.
World?
Which is kind of interesting, right? Like, we don't really get to talk about the spiritual side of things in a negative way. And not that we're going to go around trying to be negative towards spirituality or the people within it. But this particular controversy has just been all over social media with regards to what this person, and Amber and I have our own personal takes on it, has kind of come up and done a podcast on this particular subject.
Yes, and Yeah, we're not ones to throw shade on others' spiritual journeys, but some things in his podcast are a little bit cray-cray.
Weird, and now we'll watch it first. We'll watch it. This guy's name is Aubrey Marcus. If you haven't heard of him in the spiritual community, he runs a podcast. This is his channel. You can check it out on YouTube if you want to. Over 500,000 people subscribe already to that. He's been going for a while, and he interviews quite a few people within the spiritual community and has become some kind of a guru.
I think it's a self-proclaimed guru, and he's an author. Like if you look him up on social media, on Google, it's the first thing that comes up says he's an author.
Oh, well, he's an author. He runs a business, and he's been going for a little while.
What's his background, though? You might want to give people a bit of a background because it was a big transformation.
It was.
Yeah.
So I think he started his spiritual journey, or he had an awakening after he had mushrooms.
And what was he before then?
A businessman.
Exactly.
And a playboy, and entrepreneur, and living the high life, and doing all the kind of things, but like a lot of us on the journeys have kind of had either big trauma within our lives, or we've gone on a journey ourselves. So it's not his journey that is really the issue.
It's what he's doing currently.
Yeah.
It could be the issue.
So he talks about, in his podcast, he actually comes out and talks about his relationship. And his relationship is one that is quite open. He has a wife. He's been married to her for a while. And they both work within the spiritual community together. Her name is Vailana. And they also have a third, which to me makes them a throuple, right?
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this throuple is that he goes on the podcast to talk about how they actually came together. And in his own words, he's saying that Spirit told him to go on an app and find this third person.
But not just like he wasn't doing a meditation. He wasn't in a spiritual space. He was literally at the gym. And Spirit told him, go on the app. But like play it, and then we'll
play it. We'll play it. All right, let's listen to Aubrey during his podcast.
Made it through some trials and tribulations of, having a lot of fun with different loverships and different experiences, and all of them had kind of gone in different separate directions, and we'd had so much fun. Although there was challenges, we'd had so much fun. Both of us were like, we're here in Miami for a month. We're going to look around. We're going to see if we can find anybody here in Miami. And it was coming towards the end of the trip. And I go downstairs to a beautiful gym there called Anatomy. I'm down in the gym. And, so both of us were on Raya. And we were not actively pursuing, but we were just kind of leaving.
I was checking all the time.
Yeah. I was in there.
I'm like, I wonder what they think of my profile and do you think they would believe we're just here for friends? Because we could just be here for friends, but also it'd be cool if it'd be more than friends. I was looking all the time.
Yeah. So I'm in.
Know that I love that.
I'm in the weight room, and again, the mystical plays it's a theme, it's a motif in this. And this was where the mystical first steps in. I'm in the middle of a set. And we just worked out today. You saw me, my phone was there. It fell out of my pocket, but that was about the only time I gave it attention. When I'm working out, I'm fucking working out. I've done that for most of my life, right? Like workout is almost like it's a sanctuary. It's a sacred place for me. So I'm in the middle of my workout and I just get this message. And the message is, go on Raya right now and you're going to find somebody there that's important.
Now we'll stop it. We'll stop it there. So if you missed that, what he's saying is he was working out and got a message from Spirit while he was working out to go on an app called Raya. Now we're not really big Raya users or any kind of dating app.
Well, not any dating app users.
No, we don't use any of that kind of crap. But Raya is like a Tinder. It's like a hookup dating app, but it's for the celebrity world. So like you have to be invited apparently to go on to this dating app, and then it's invite only, but in some ways it kind of only deals with the really wealthy people. It's kind of like a really wealthy people dating app. Anyway, that aside, he's decided to talk about his relationship in a way where he says Spirit gave him guidance to go on the app and find a particular person who just so happens to be this other girl, Alana, who is now the third person in their relationship.
Yeah.
Now,
honestly, if you, I don't care what people do in their relationships as long as they're not hurting anyone. But like, what a cop out to say, Spirit told me to go. Just say the truth. Just be like, we're horny mofos and we want to hook up wherever we go, including at the gym. You know what I mean? Like, why pretend and make it like a pretend spiritual thing that you're getting a message from? No. Like, just say, we like to hook up with other people. Just own it, you know? Like,
I don't understand why they've brought spirituality into a portion of their lives where it kind of doesn't make sense. Yeah. Because like Amber and I have connected to Spirit many times in different ways, in different modalities. And never once have I had any of these guides come through and go, jump on a dating app, you're going to meet someone really special.
You know what it would be? They'd be more like, if you were to go on a dating app, Kebrasca King, you will get divorced from your wife, so you better stay away from that. You know, it'll be that kind of thing because they're here to look out for you. Why? I mean,
there's in our experience, when you connect with those types of spirit guides, they are supposed to be there for your highest good. They're supposed to bring into your life all of the positivity and love and all that kind of stuff. Would you say that what he's doing now is of the highest good? No. Or would you say that it's more of a personal, sexual
He's just
endeavor?
Using that as a thing to get people, like, honestly, the spirit guides that are of the highest vibration are not that shallow to go, oh, you need to go on a dating app and hook up with some chick. Like,
they don't do that.
They don't do that. Whenever I've talked to spirit guides, it's always about like the universe or how to heal or humanity or
guidance to like help people
your
through
life.
A situation. Yeah, but like this isn't in a situation. Like they could literally hook up with anyone on this app. Like it could have been this girl, it could have been another 20-year-old. Like it's just, I just don't think their sexual relationship needs to be a spiritual discussion.
Yeah, it's a cop-out. That's what I get. And I feel like it's giving him an excuse to get more hookups. Because then what's to say in another 6 months after he's bored with these two, he goes, oh, okay, I was sitting on the toilet and Spirit came down and said to me, hey, go on that app and then hook up with it. We need a fourth.
We need a fifth.
You know what I mean?
I'm going for a rugby team and I just got told by Spirit that I need 15 more people.
You know what it sounds similar to? It sounds similar to people who are like, oh, God said you need to have multiple wives to spread your seed. I'm pretty sure God did not say that.
It sounds more like a cult kind of mentality with what he's trying to do with these women than an actual benefit for him and them in the spiritual
I mean, he's benefiting from
community.
It, isn't he?
Well, exactly.
He's having a good old time.
He's having a great old time.
Trying to convince these chicks that they're having a good time too. But like, I don't know, man. It's really weird if you were to watch the whole podcast. There's a lot of weird moments where the women are talking and they're kind of like
very uncomfortable.
I pretend that I like you, but I really hate you. You know, like that kind of thing.
We can show that part as they keep talking.
And apparently, when they first met,
you know, and I've had enough messages from Spirit that I tend to listen, especially if it's low cost. You know, it's interrupting my workout, but that's a low cost. To ignore God at that point.
It's not God giving him that information to tell
first
him
he says
to go onto
Spirit,
a dating app.
Then they call it a deity.
You should not be saying stuff like that.
And then they say God. And those three things are different. You know, because further on in this podcast, they start talking about deity. Spirit is different to deity is different to God.
Yes.
Those are three separate things. And if he was very skilled up about or knew about spirituality, he would know that they're all three very different things.
What do you think that is? What do you think that means in his spiritual journey, that, you know, someone would come up and actually talk about this in a way that they're talking about as if it's spiritual guide? Like, what do you have to gain by saying something like that? It makes no sense to me, because it's kind of, for me, it's kind of blasphemous to like the stuff people do. And the spirit guides we do get that do give information, and it doesn't make any sense because it's more of a need
and an ego
and
play,
an ego-based need, which is not what spirit's about. It's not about connecting in that way at all. It's actually the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And it's about being open and loving, but not like this, where there is sexual intention to create a relationship. Like, look, if you like to sleep with lots of people, cool.
Just own it.
Go do that thing.
Yeah.
But don't tell me that spirit told you to go do that.
Yeah.
That's not how it should be. That's not correct.
Or he's misinterpreting it as, so not every spirit out there is of the highest vibration. So he might actually be channeling one that's of low vibration. Correct. That actually doesn't have good intentions.
Well, let's talk about that, right? When you're at the gym, are you in a sacred space? Are you protected? Like, normally when you have those interactions with spirit, you're not just working out in a gym and it kind of comes to you. Like, you know, the way we've been taught is you need to be in a protected space. You need to have protections in place. And that's before you even start this journey of trying to connect in any way, right?
Yeah. What's a protection for the people at home?
A protection is a way that keeps you safe. As Amber was saying, in our experience, and I'll just talk from our experience, when we are connecting to a higher presence or spirit guides or people who are here for our highest good, you need to make sure that you are able to do that in a way where you are protected. Now, protection means layering kind of energies, or layering protective prayers, or layering a way that you are not going to be interfered with other spirits that are passed over who may not be there for your highest good. And I've had personal experiences of both good and bad spirit guides. And there's so many that's over there. And there's a lot more that are over there to try and trick you, manipulate you, lead you down the wrong way, talk to you about going on a dating app. Then there are the ones, there's just as many that are actually there for your highest good. But you need to do the work to make sure that you're not dealing with the lower vibration ones. You're actually dealing with the ones who love you and want the best for you.
That's it. Because the way that we've been taught is that when people pass, you know, they might have been a horrible person on earth when they were alive as a human. And when they pass, it doesn't mean they necessarily became an angel, right?
No.
So some of them choose not to heal, and some of them choose to stay in that low vibration, and that's their choice. But they can still interact with us as humans that we're alive, and they can interact with us on a spiritual level. And if people choose to listen to them, if they don't have their protections up, or if they are choosing to work with those low vibration spirits, then the messages that are going to be coming through will not be of the highest good.
Like, we tend to think of spirit guides, if you were going to break it up into levels of good and bad, we kind of look at a range of people that are passed over, but also if you had a scale, it'd be like from 1 to 10. And then the ones who are like 1 to 4 are really, really bad.
They're not healed.
They have not done anything on this side to help themselves or healed any of their traumas, or they were probably the people who caused the trauma in the first place. They're not the good ones. And you definitely don't want to be dealing with them, but you also don't want to be getting any guidance or direction from them either. So we don't deal with those ones. Then you've got the 5s to like 7s. And they're still good. They may have done some work, but they're still not as good as the 7 to 10 level. And we tend to aim and work with and support, through the work that we've been taught and how we work with, that higher level of spirit guides rather than the other 1 to 7 levels.
Yeah.
Purely for the basis of the information you get is so good, and it definitely helps people to move and shift trauma and move through their lives easier, and it's just a much better reading, connection, and outcome.
Yeah.
Which is what I've found personally in my own life, let alone for my clients that I work with.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be led by people that are lost. And a lot of those times, just, you know, a lot of those people who have passed over that are still low vibe are lost. They, you know, and they don't want us to heal.
Would you, like, my personal take is this particular message from Aubrey, and you can go watch the podcast for yourself, feels to me like he's dealing in that 1 to 5 level.
I would say from watching him.
Or is it just his ego?
I feel it's his ego. I mean, he could be.
I think it's his...
I just think it's his ego.
Yeah.
And he's just really, really wanting to hook up with heaps of chicks. And this is his excuse to do it. But, like, stop pretending. Just come out and say, yeah, we have an open relationship and that's that. Don't go on this whole buzz of making it seem like a spiritual thing and God told you or something told you, because that then it makes all those higher vibe spiritual people kind of devalue all their teachings and stuff.
And actually, I really like the fact that the spiritual community has come out to talk against him on this whole subject, which is why we're also talking about it, is because this isn't the type of spirituality that we want people to recognize and be really kind of active about having in this domain, because it's not the way that spirit works. It's not my experience. It's not your experience. There are many, many, many. I've watched quite a few different practitioners from yoga, meditation, breathwork. Everyone across multiple modalities is talking about how ridiculous this subject is that he's talking about, because he's trying to blend in spirituality into his own egotistical, sexual adventures. Which it does not work that way. It
doesn't even need to be
and it doesn't. No.
Just have your
they could have just come out and be like, oh, we're a thruple and this is what we do and this is how we met her. We met her on an app and that's fine. But like when you blend the two together, you're doing some dangerous tantric sexual stuff. I don't know. It's just weird. It makes no sense to me.
No.
Right?
No.
Makes no sense to me. So if you want to check that out, you can. Our take on it is that you know what's really interesting? I don't see this relationship lasting.
No way.
That's the part I'm going to say, and I'm making a big statement there on my own, but I don't see the relationship of the three lasting.
Someone's going to get jealous of someone, or he'll bring in someone else. You know, because he talks about loverships or whatever they call it. Apparently, they're all on this app, and they're all still getting extra lovers or hookups out of it. So it's just a bunch of, just be honest, it's just a bunch of people that like to hook up with other people, and they sometimes hook up together and they sometimes hook up separately. Fine.
And that's fine. That's your sexual preferences,
do that.
right?
It's fine.
That's fine. Yep.
But don't bring in the whole God told me to do it. Like, come on, dude.
You know what, though? If you look into him, Aubrey, and he was married before.
Yeah.
His previous relationship, after they broke up, she spent 5 years in therapy.
Yeah.
Because of how he was back then and how controlling he was and manipulative.
Yeah.
And it took her a long time to get over the relationship.
And he met the current wife, Vailana, after 2 weeks. He was already still with the other wife, and then he had an affair with Vailana, and then broke it off, and got married in 2 weeks or something like that.
He did.
To the
2
new
weeks.
person.
Correct.
So,
yes.
I mean, come on, dude, you're breaking up things for your own ego. This, to me, does not seem of the highest good for all. I feel it's the highest good for Aubrey.
Aubrey's having a great time. Yeah, he's living his best life right now. But look, it doesn't just stop there. They've also got on this particular podcast a doctor
so I open it up,
who is there to help them through their stuff, right?
But what is he a doctor of? He's
not a doctor.
He's got a doctorate in philosophy.
He's a philosopher that is giving relationship advice in the spiritual realm. And the really scary part is this guy has been involved in, has not been convicted, but has been involved in controversy which is to do with minors.
Yeah, see, that's red flags. So many red flags, and he
Like,
is
what
on.
the hell is
he's
going on?
Aubrey's staff, so he's just there to say what Aubrey like to validate everything he says. So of course, if Aubrey's like, okay, I'm going to do this podcast, I want you to come in and
I want
say,
you to make me sound legitimate, doctor.
Yes, it's okay to have all these sexual relations, and treat women like the way I do.
Dr. Mark Gaffney is his name. And you can Google him, you can go on ChatGPT and look into him, but the history of this man is about as crazy as Aubrey, actually. It's a bit worse because it involves minors and him having to leave certain roles because of what was happening. He never got convicted. I'm not saying he's gone away and he is, but there is a lot of history where there have been multiple incidences, not just one. So I'm very skeptical on anyone that is coming out like this, speaking in the spiritual community, proactively promoting what these guys are promoting, and also tying in spirituality to it. I just think that is just the worst representation of the work we do ever. And
you know what they say, like attracts like.
What do you mean?
So whatever energy that you're putting out there is what you're getting back. So if like attracts like, so Aubrey's attracting this man in terms of working with him. He's attracting women that are easily led astray.
Manipulated.
Easy to manipulate. And then he could be also attracting spirits that are not of the highest good, with still with ego, that are guiding him to do weird things. And you know what I mean? I do. He could be getting messages from spirit, but I don't feel like it's the high vibration ones.
And the wife even said it before, like they were on this dating app for a reason. They've been looking for partners and stuff before. So they weren't getting any spiritual messages when they were doing that. They were literally just looking on the app like any other person looking on a dating app, but they're married. So I if you were doing that before, why are you even mentioning that spirit helped you find this girl?
Exactly.
It's a complete farce. Complete and utter farce.
They're calling it not monogamy, not polyamory, and evolution.
It's radical monogamy. That is what Dr. Mark Gaffney classes their relationship. It is radical monogamy. When actually it's not monogamy at all. The only radical thing is the way that they actually found this chick. And they still continue to have a relationship. But this is not a representation of spirituality.
No.
So do not think that this is legitimate. It is a way that you should connect with people or find people or deal with spirits. It's not the way that it works, and should not be in any way, shape or form followed, supported, which is why we're talking about it.
Yeah, and you could look up other people's reactions too. It's quite dangerous, because what I feel also is it's teaching young men, because a lot of people follow this guy, right? Because they think he's some kind of guru.
Yeah.
It teaches young men that it's okay to just go to your girlfriend. Spirit told me I have to get another 10 girlfriends and impregnate them all. Like
I'll tell you right now,
dude.
if I was to come home and then tell Amber I got a download from Spirit and we need to bring in a third person into our relationship, she would just divorce me, tell me to get out of the house, and then be like, nice knowing you, mate.
Yeah. I'll be like, look,
see ya.
The only other third person we've got in this relationship is the cat.
I do have a third.
You already have a third.
I'm already in a throuple.
She already bosses you around. Why would you want another person bossing you around?
This is true, my cat.
You've got two.
She actually does boss me around.
Yeah. Like, but seriously, yes, you would be divorced.
I would be divorced.
Imagine if I came home and I said, hey, babe, so I was just at the gym and like, I was just sitting there doing my workout, and then all of a sudden, ding, I get a message from Spirit, and
I go,
they're like, like, I'm really working out here, but okay, go on that dating app and have a look, and oh my God, there's someone on there. Oh, let's have a match. Okay, I'll go tell my husband that we're going to be together now. If I came home and I said that to you, what would you do?
Later. You can go be with that guy that you just had a connection with.
Exactly.
See you later.
That guy, that chick that he's connected with looks like she's 12 years old.
And in both instances, spirituality had nothing to do with it. It would be your personal sexual preference that would actually want you to do that.
That's it.
It's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with it at
I
all.
think I feel like there is guidance that comes from Spirit in regards to a person that we should meet in our lives, that we can create a life together and heal the world and things like that, and
also relationship advice. Like you and I deal with a lot of relationship advice, and we get guidance for those clients to help them in their relationships all the time. But it's never
it's nothing like that
to do things.
Like, I feel we've been guided to come together, the two of us, and work together, and that's because there's so many synchronicities and coincidences. I feel like we were meant to be together and stuck together forever. But we love it. Obviously, we're still here. But you know what I mean? There's a higher plan for a lot of things, but I just don't feel like this is the higher plan.
Oh, it's higher, right? It's very high. He's having the high life, this guy, Aubrey. Aubrey.
All right.
Look, this is not a sacred relationship. We don't agree with what they're talking about in here. In fact, his current community is now under the microscope because there's a lot of culty things that they do.
What else do they do
within his community? Well, there's been a lot of accusations thrown around them being similar to like a cult, a little bit culty, just a little bit Aubrey culty, like certain things that you just don't do if you're building a spiritual group. It's not about manipulation or money or there's a lot. You can go look it up. I don't want to give him any more
props
around anything that he's done. I just wanted to talk about this to basically shed some light from our point of view, being spiritual people and working within this realm, and also helping so many people. Not once have I ever told them to go on a dating app. Have you ever been?
No.
No. It's not a thing. If you want to do that and that's your sexual preference, by all means, go for it. But please do not involve spirituality in your personal sexual endeavors. It just doesn't belong there.
No.
Right.
Don't be a cop out.
I think that's enough about Aubrey for now.
Yeah, me too.
So moving on, I should say, just recently, my beautiful talented unicorn over here was featured as an amazing reader at Mind Body Spiritual Festival. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, if you're not familiar with Mind Body Spirit, I'm just going to bring it up here. Mind Body Spiritual Festival is an amazing national festival here in Melbourne. It's probably one of the biggest, right?
I think it is the biggest.
I'm pretty sure. And also one of the longest running. I think it's been
30 years.
Over 30 years.
Yep.
And my beautiful wife showcased herself and her business and her reading at the Melbourne show just recently.
I was very lucky to be invited or to be chosen to read in the psychic reading room.
Where do I find you on here?
Oh, well, that's from last... This is for the November show, so it's finished. Oh. Yeah. I was very grateful and happy to be chosen to work in the psychic reading room with, maybe 50 other readers.
Yeah, it was
across
packed.
3 days.
So tell people your experience of, first of all, what was it like to actually be in a room of other readers? Because this was your first time to do that, right? On the Speak Scale. So what was that like?
Actually, not too bad. I felt quite good about it because I had already had a lot of practice doing readings day at the Brunswick Spiritual Church for the last 3 years, which is obviously a smaller scale, but we read there you as well and do psychic readings, tarot readings, mediumship. We volunteer there for the lovely ladies down there.
Once a month.
Yeah. And so this room is a much larger scale, but I was, the energy there is intense at Mind, Body, Spirit, and the noise, there's a lot of noise coming from all the other stands. There's like people singing and chanting and performing and doing all different stuff on the live stages.
Yes.
And there's a lot of music, and you can see on the screen, that's one of the live stages. That's one of the areas where people go and they do talks and stuff. So, yeah.
And there's a lot of people there. Like, I'd say they would have attracted probably over 40,000 people over the 3-4 days that they were going. There's a lot of people coming in every day, and it's free to go. It doesn't cost you anything to actually go to this event.
Yeah.
You do have to pay a fee in order to like have a reading with Amber or buy products or anything like that. Kind of like a normal festival, all fair. But it's a great festival just to kind of get your head around spirituality, meet other people within spirituality, and have a reading, like what Amber was doing as well.
Yeah.
So you went there. It was the first time being in there. What was your table set up like? How did you get prepared for like what you were going to do?
So I have a similar table set up to what I use at the spiritual church. So I have my New Zealand tablecloth with my New Zealand native birds and the map of New Zealand, which I love, which was vintage. I'm all about the vintage.
She is pretty vintage.
I have my crystals, so I lay out some protective crystals, some cleansing crystals, amethyst to like stay connected to my psychic abilities, plus a rose quartz for a bit of to help with because people who come and sit with you and ask questions, a lot of times they're lacking self-love, so that's kind of to open their heart.
And they could be carrying trauma, right? Like you may not know where they're from or what they're going through or any of that, right?
Yeah. And some protective crystals as well. And so I have that on my table. I have my cards, my tarot cards ready to go, and my sprays. So like our teacher, Nigel, gave me one of his sprays, made me a special spray so I could cleanse my space, because usually you would not do in a normal day 13 readings back to back.
No, you wouldn't. It's a very busy day.
Yeah, and you would have a cleanse in between. So you would cleanse and clear your energy, and you would cleanse and clear the cards. But there's no time for that.
No.
So the spray was it.
So this was your first time being at Mind, Body, Spirit. You'd never been there before.
I'd only been as a patron.
Yeah, and I've been there as a patron too.
Yeah.
And so your first time being in the room, were there other people that were more experienced in that reading room?
100%.
And had they been on the festival before?
Yes. So I had a look through some of the other readers, and they're very seasoned. So they've been doing this festival for years and years and years in the readings room. They had all sorts of readers. So a lot of tarot readers, oracle cards, clairvoyance, clairsentience. One lady was doing crystal ball, a few mediums.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Numerology, astrology.
What would you say, out of all the people that kept coming to have a reading with you at Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, what was the number one thing that they were coming to you for?
Wow. It was a little bit of a mixture. I'd say over half were coming to me for mediumship.
Wow.
So they wanted to talk to their loved ones who had passed away.
Yep.
And then the other half then another percentage were wanting to know about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And some others were wanting to know about like kind of next steps forward, because maybe they just lost their job, or they're looking to get into a new job, or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of what am I going to do next? Like a large percentage were in that boat. Yeah.
And what was the process of like trying to select between you and someone else? To people who've never been there before, was there an app online, or did they book you beforehand, or did they do it there? Like, how was that done?
So on this website, They have a directory where you can choose. They have like a psychic reading room that's listed on the website, and then they list all of the readers, and you can book up a few days up until the festival, and they open the first 2 slots.
Yep.
So 10 a.m. and 10:30 for the days that you're reading, and then every time after that you have to, it's come as, you know, first in, first served. And then at the festival they have a wall which has all the profiles and photos, and kind of break it up into categories of like what their abilities are. Yeah.
And then, so this was your first time there, but you were booked out every single day, all day.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because that's like, I went and visited you a couple times.
You did.
But you only had like a small break in between these readings.
Yeah. So because I was a first timer, they gave me 3 half-hour breaks, and I was very, very grateful because I needed those breaks.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
That's a lot of reading.
So I started at 10 a.m. and then it's like bang, 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 and then my first break at like 12, half hour, have a breather, have some food, and then go straight back into it at 12:30, and then another break at 2 and another break at 4, and then finish at 6.
Wow.
So
back to back, literally.
Yeah, and every
Right from your
single
break.
slot of mine was taken apart from 1 half-hour slot on my final day, which actually I was quite happy about because then I needed to have a rest. Yeah.
How did you maintain, and you know, because that for me is a phenomenal number of readings.
Yeah, it's 38 in
like
total.
At the church, we would be there for almost a day, but we'd only do maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 would be the most I've ever done.
Yeah.
And to double that over and have that happen over 3 days, that to me that's a lot, man.
It was a lot. Especially
a lot.
for my very first time, and I am grateful that I've had that experience, but there are some things that I would tweak.
Yep. What would you change? Or first of all, before we talk about what would you change, what were your 3 highlights of this experience and being at Mind Body Spirit?
My 3 highlights were, I'll talk about some of the ways in which I was able to help the people who came along and had readings with me. So one guy seems quite lost, and I helped him find his life purpose.
Oh wow!
During the reading.
So what did he come to you for?
He was just like, I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing.
Wow.
But yeah, he was like really kind of like
a blokey bloke,
like a bloke, and he was like, I don't know. I just thought I'd come and talk to you, and I was like, okay, well, let's see. And you know, he's kind of like, I feel like I need to be doing something more, but I just don't know what it is. And so like we just went deeper and deeper and deeper in the reading, and then I was like, I feel, and then it kind of started to reveal itself, and I was like, I feel like this could be really suited to you. And then finally his face lit up, and then he had a massive smile on his face because he was quite closed in the beginning and like a bit shy. And then he had this massive smile. He's like, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. And he, like, you could see it's like, it just clicked. And he was ticking over, thinking about the things that, we had just talked about and looked at in the cards. And he was like, yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah, I'm going to look into it. I'm going to do that. And it was just like, because, you know, and he's like, I think you found my life purpose. And so we were like really happy, both of us, at the end of the reading, and he went away with like, he just felt so much different.
Yeah. You didn't mention any dating apps though, eh?
No. Spirit did not come at me going, tell this man to go on a dating app and find some lovers. No, it was not that.
But I think one thing that a lot of men are afraid of in spirituality is actually getting support and guidance.
Yeah.
I think we're terrible at it, and I think we need more men in the spiritual space to actually not just be, you know, spiritual, but like actually use this particular way of getting support for themselves. Because I've seen it, like, you know, that instance of you helping him is going to put him in the right direction for the rest of the year.
Exactly. the rest of his life, hopefully,
Yeah, he
if
might
he follows it.
fully change everything that he does.
Yeah, and we could see a path through that, you know, like he was kind of stuck in a rut. And so he could see his way out of that. So it was really, really good. Another big highlight I had was of a lady that had lost her husband a few years ago, and she'd done her healing. She was
So she was over the grief side.
Yes, she was over the full grief of it, and she had 2 children that are in uni, and she was looking at what to do next, and she really had some big ideas in terms of like traveling, and you know, she kind of got the travel bug when her and her family, before her husband passed, they did one last big trip together, and then she really loved that, and it kind of sparked something in her, and she was like in this place where she was thinking, should I go? Is it a good time? Do I, you know, what kind of, and you could tell she was like, just wanted some confirmation around the things that she'd been thinking about in terms of like how to move on with the rest of her life, and is it possible to find a companion again, and then how that would look and what it would feel like and stuff like that. Yeah, and then we kind of we looked into that, and then what was coming up on the cards was like going to Egypt, and I was like, I feel like you're going to go to Egypt, and she was just like, oh, that's the place I've been thinking of. I really want to go, and like all this stuff, and just so many confirmations, and I was like, oh my God, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. And we were just, she was a really good one.
Man, that's. And then, man, that's so cool. That's so cool that those people came in. They'd never seen you, met you before. You do a reading for them. And then there's this like connection and also information that gives them hope and gives them support. Yeah. And, you know, that guy didn't even know what he was doing. No. But at the same time, he left. Yeah. With messages and support and a plan. Yeah. And do you find that that's normal with regards to like readings?
Well, the way that I like to do readings is to give them something to take away so that they can help like them move forward in life. Totally. So it's not all just about, you know, a message from whatever, or, you know, from the cards are saying this and then that's it. It's always about how to move them forward, how they can improve their lives, what steps they can take to do better. Yeah. And that's my goal every single time. Yeah.
I find that's a big misconception around that. A lot of people think it's woo-woo, as in it's going to look into your soul and like we'll know everything about you. And in some respects, there's a lot of information that comes through that you don't have to tell us because we can either feel it or see it. But what that actually is to help give them more direction, more support, confirmation in the things they're doing or things they shouldn't do. Yeah. And I think people need to just forget that it's got nothing to do with being woo-woo. It's actually just to help you. Yeah. And it really does help. Yeah, like when people listen to the guidance that gets channeled or the information that gets directed, it's really powerful. Yeah. That's so cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and that one was a really good one. And I had heaps more, like across those 3 days, there were so many awesome people that came through. One mum, she came through and her daughter actually chose me.
Her young daughter?
Yeah.
I remember you telling me about
from the board. Her daughter said, Mum, let's go to her. And so they waited for me. Oh. And then they came over and they'd been going through a bit of a tough time with her daughter's health and stuff and her husband. And it was just nice to be able to see that they were on a better path now, and that it was kind of confirmation of what the mum had tried to start doing to improve their lives, and that she was actually doing the right thing. Like she needed to just continue with that, and things started, what it looked like to me is things were going to improve and just to keep going and not to
second guess yourself or change direction. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so just more of the same, more of pushing through, and they would have, come out to a better place.
How long has it taken you from start to being at the festival? How long has it taken you to get there? would you say?
My whole life.
I would say so, but like, you know.
Yeah,
like,
a good solid 5 years of study in this realm.
it has been fun. I
Solid,
think it's over
solid.
5.
I mean, it's over that because
Yeah.
we started in ages ago, and I've been doing spiritual stuff and learning since I was in my 20s, and I'm only 29 now.
21.
Yeah, I've been going aging backwards.
Times 21.
Anyway,
Times 21.
not that old.
Times 21.
But yeah, I feel like the solid, like, this is really what I want to get into, kind of studying and working and learning and trying out with different teachers, but always having our main teacher guiding us. Yeah.
Well over 5 years.
Yeah, well over
Well
5
over
years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. It's
Yeah.
not like it's not like it's going to happen overnight.
No,
you know, it's something
no.
that you have to, like anything, you have to work at it, and then you build more and build more. Yeah.
And some of those people in the room have probably been doing it much, much longer
Oh
as well,
yeah,
right?
some of these people looking at their things are like they've been doing it for over 20 years,
Yeah,
reading and just it was very interesting to see so many different readers in there, but I mean some of them weren't as busy, and I was just like, whoa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some of them weren't as busy, and I was just like very, very grateful that people were booking in with me and being very patient to sit with me. And
Man, 13 bookings every day, back to back for 3 days. That's like, let me just do the multi
That's 38.
It's like 30. Oh, hey,
because
it's
there was
almost 40.
one was 12. The last day was 12.
38 people in 3
Yeah.
days. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's the most you've ever done.
Yeah, I was
Congratulations,
done.
my John.
Thanks.
Like, that is
Thank you,
that's
babe.
epic. That's crazy.
Thank you.
Crazy as in the work that you did over that weekend. I think it grew you.
Yeah.
And what I saw, which was really interesting from day one, because I was Amber's first reading.
He
for the day.
was.
I made sure I was first, just
He
to
was.
like break her in
Yes,
softly.
break the ice.
But what I saw you go from was like being a little bit unsure at the start.
I was very
which
nervous.
you always are. And then once
Yeah.
you got in your flow, you were off, man.
Yeah.
You were just like in there,
Yeah.
absolutely smashing it.
Yeah.
I was so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. And
You did
thank
so
you
well,
for
my
supporting me and bringing me lunch and
Yeah, of course.
and coming to see me and giving me a healing. And
Yeah, on that third day you did it. Yeah, I looked at you and you were like, "Oh my god!" It was big. I don't think people understand just how much it takes for us just to do readings.
Yeah.
You know, I think they think it's just the cards, or
No.
they don't really understand that sometimes, you know, when people come to us, we can feel what
Their
you're going
stuff.
through. We can
Yep.
see what you're going through, or both, and often that has a really big impact on us sometimes.
And put on top of that mediumship where
Oh,
you're
yes.
tuning into spirit and
Which you did a lot of those.
oh man, yes, I was told by somebody that Amber, you won't even get more than one mediumship session a day. Mine was like maybe it's over 60% was mediumship.
But it was good.
I mean, it was good.
That is actually why you were there,
Yeah.
to help all those people get guidance and support. I think.
I mean, we got some great messages from Spirit and had a laugh. And because, you know, just when people pass over doesn't mean they lose their sense of humour. So there were quite a few bossy aunties coming through and grandmothers. And, you know, it was a very interesting and enlightening 3 days.
And Mind Body Spirit happens, I think it's 3 times a year, right? Maybe 3 times a year.
Yeah, per city.
Per city, because
Yeah.
they have a Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane show.
Yeah,
Would you do it again?
I would.
Yeah.
I have been asked.
Are you
going
gonna
to
go? Are you gonna do it
Yes.
again? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
You should,
Yes.
and then you should expand your brand to be national.
Yes.
No
Well,
pressure, but that's
no
what's gonna
pressure.
happen.
But I have been asked if I am available to do the Sydney
You totally should do Sydney.
show, and
And
you
Brisbane too.
should come.
Oh, I'm going to be there.
Yeah, good.
But who's going to look after Kitty?
We'll get a kitty sitter.
I'm going to have to get a kitty sitter.
Yeah,
Poor baby.
she'll be fine.
She'll know we're doing good work.
Yeah, she helps us, supports us when we get back.
And then she steals my bed, so I cannot lie on it at all. It's her bed. As soon as I get out, she gets in.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations,
Thank
my
you.
darling. I'm super proud of you. I know that our teacher Nigel is also super proud.
I'm
Merv,
very
who
grateful.
helped you get in there and,
Yes.
and manage him. The whole team were just fantastic people.
Yeah.
Like, really amazing job.
Oh, thank you so much.
Really well done.
Yes, I did have a lot of fun. I learnt a lot.
I think you've added a really big component to your confidence too.
I think so.
Because you can't get any bigger than this festival. This
Yeah,
is
not
the
in Australia.
biggest
Yeah.
festival in Australia, right? So maybe we need to do another one somewhere else in Egypt or something.
Oh,
Just saying. Maybe we look at some other big festivals that we can go to.
exactly.
Now that you've got this under your
Yeah.
belt. Hey,
Yeah.
I can think of one in Costa Rica. It's pretty good.
Well,
Well, that brings us to the end of our Creative Talk podcast for this weekend. Actually,
Oh,
it's the
okay.
weekend. Weekend? Oh, sorry.
no,
were
we
you
had
gonna-
one more thing on our list.
Oh, what is it?
It's talking about what we've just finished our course with Nigel on tarot.
Sorry. Yes, we were going to talk about that. Yes. Well,
So, okay. Tell us about what we've been up to with that Kebrasca.
so for the last, I think
6
it's
weeks?
6 weeks.
Yep.
We never stop learning. Learning to us is just something that just constantly happens with all our modalities that we do. We're either learning by working and using them, or we're learning by actually going and learning from teachers all over the world. So Nigel Edu, who has actually featured on our podcast before, is one of our long-standing teachers here in Melbourne, and he has been running a really in-depth tarot / Kabbalah combination class, which has been amazing for me. I find every time I do those classes with Nigel, I learn another hidden layer of tarot that just like blows my mind.
Yes.
And again, this was the same.
Yeah.
Because this time I learned about the Kabbalah and I did not know anything about it. And for whatever reason, it's such a complicated system, but it kind of made more sense for me around certain aspects of tarot, which I've never looked at before.
Yeah.
Like constellations and how things blend together in a way like that. Like that never made any sense.
What's a constellation?
Well, that I'm still trying to work out because they're very complicated, and I'm not an expert enough to even talk about how, or I haven't used them and understand them enough. I don't feel I can talk about that subject enough. I'm still learning.
Yeah. It's kind of
What's
like...
your understanding of
So
constellation?
in tarot, every card is numbered. And there's a...
And Amber's really good at Roman numerals.
Okay, I'm just putting it out there now. I suck at Roman numerals. When I was at primary school and they were teaching Roman numerals, my brain checked out.
What number is it in the Roman numeral?
I can do 1, 2, 3. That's it.
When it comes with a V, you're like, nah.
I'm like, just use a letter. Like, what? Why are we doing a V, a 1
So
and a
one
V, and a
V?
V and a 1 and a 1 V 1 1? Oh, just use the number. Like, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense.
Oh.
And I don't want to spend my time looking at it and trying to figure out how many ones after the V and then the X and how many ones before the X and after the X and all that crazy stuff.
But you do know what a constellation is, though, eh?
Yes. So, let me go through this.
Go.
So, in tarot, there are numbers. Yes, Roman numerals, but also on my cards, I don't have a lot of those Roman numerals because I'm brainy and I don't choose that deck. No, I just don't want to do Roman numerals. So, the major arcana, which are
A majority of the deck, actually.
20
28.
something cards, 22, 23, I should know this. And they all represent different numbers from 0 to 22. 22? Yeah, they represent different numbers. And when you add some of them together, so as an example, the card with the number 11 needs to be added together to get one single digit. So there'll be 1 + 1 = 2. So that would be in the if you say like a channel or the line of the 2. So there's like cards that are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then every one of those falls in line with that. I'm not making it sound easy, 'cause it's not easy.
That's why I'm getting a picture. I'm hoping this might be a little bit easier.
See, look at those Roman numerals.
There we go. We won't be looking at the numbers, but what Amber's talking about is the major arcana within the tarot deck. These are what we consider to be the majors, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yes, those are the major arcana.
Continue.
So each of those numbers at the top with a Roman numeral, which I can't read, corresponds to a number in English, which I can read, that when added together go down to one number. And then there are hidden, so
there's like additional messages because of that number relationship.
Yes. So
I did learn something. See?
For example, what is the constellation of the Emperor? It would be something that adds up to number 4. And the constellation of the Empress is something that adds up to number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about constellations, it's like every card has more than one meaning. Then you add the constellation to it, and it gives it even deeper meaning.
And actually, the deeper the meaning within tarot, the more what's the word? Kind of like bang on the money. Your reading is going to be accurate.
It's Saturday. It's all right. Yeah.
The more accurate your reading is, the more information you're going to get that actually helps that person move through their life, relationship, whatever, easier, smoother, or not in some cases.
And sometimes it can be the light and the dark. For example, you've got,
and looking at that
what is the number of the death card there? I can't understand that.
I think it's 13.
Okay, and that adds up to 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. So if you go back up to C4 at the top, that is the Emperor, right? So the Emperor and the death card are the constellations of each other. So there can be, one could be the lighter version of that constellation, number 4, and one could be the darker version of that constellation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
it's very complex.
It's very, very complex.
A lot of people only look at tarot as skin deep, as in what the cards that get laid out is the level, and that's where we started. You know, I used to look at the cards and all the colors, and then be like, oh, because it's got orange on there, this means it's going to be a sunny day. You know, like that's where I started. Now, though, it's about the layered meanings and the connections within the connections that really do give you like an amazing insight for people. So, we'll be continuing to learn about constellations. For me is something I actually want to get extremely good at.
Me too. But I don't use them enough. No. Yeah, and it takes a lot of practice.
Which is why we went and did this workshop, is to learn more about that. Because we always want to push ourselves. We like doing that for some reason, putting ourselves in the fire. But at the same time, it's so beneficial to really try and delve deep into a modality like tarot that has so many layers within it. Because it's such a special... I find it like a really special tool that just always is accurate.
Yeah.
You can't lie through these cards, man. No. Like they see through everything.
Yeah. And once you like, you know,
can't hide anything. Like nothing.
And when you do this, and you might do the same spread, because in tarot you use different spreads, whether it's 3 cards, past, present, future, or like this 5-star spread, or a relationship spread, which is 4 cards. You might have a spread that you use for 2 different people and have the exact same cards, but because one person's asking about a relationship and the other person's asking about their job, the meanings would be completely different. Because you're also tuning into them psychically, and you're also looking at the constellations, what's not there, and then you're also looking at the cards around, kind of round out your story. You know what I mean? It's not just like you look at one card and say, this is the answer. It's kind of everything that plays out all together.
Yes. And this is one example of a spread which is called the Celtic Cross, which we use quite often. And here you'll see what Amber's talking about. The meaning from these initial cards would be what the reader And we call that the reader is the person who's actually reading for the sitter or the person who's coming to get a reading. And most readers would read this whole sequence of cards just in that layer. And what we're talking about is that this layer or this set of cards would actually have multiple meanings within them. And it's our job as the reader to understand what those are, how to give those messages to the person, so that when they leave, they've got a really good plan on what are the next steps forward. You know?
Yes.
Not wishy-washy. Like, I like doing readings where it's like, here's what we're looking at, here's your scenario that you're in, here's a way that we can sort it out.
Moving forward.
We
always try and move them forward.
Exactly.
Yeah. And obviously, people have free will. Just
totally.
because we see it in the cards doesn't mean that they're going to action it and do it.
No.
Everybody has the choice. I feel like people can often get scared of this kind of thing because of stuff they've seen in movies, horror movies, whatever. Yeah. And then think that it's not of the highest light and all that kind of stuff. But it's a tool to help people with their lives. It's not a be all and end all. Like you wouldn't live your life by the tarot cards. It's a guide.
It is a guide.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be used as a tool to help you navigate, the most difficult situations. But like, we use tarot all the time.
We do.
And we don't just use, and we've talked about this on our podcast, we don't just use tarot for our clients. Yes, we do that. We use tarot on each other. We also use tarot in our business to talk about situations and look into clients and certain campaigns and a whole bunch of different stuff that we find it extremely beneficial, not just for our relationship or our clients, but also our business.
Yeah.
And also our family. We use it with our family.
We do.
I've used it with my sons. Like, I now look at it as just a really good tool to help people.
Yeah.
Which it is. It's amazing.
It is. And it's really amazing that being in the class with Nigel, and being able to work with other people, who are, because he's got all different levels in that class, and it's amazing to see just how far we've come. And, it goes to show the more practice and work that you put in, the more that you'll understand and know, because these people, a lot of them are just kind of like, how am I ever going to learn this? And they're at the beginning phases.
And we know what that's like.
Yeah, and we know exactly what that's like, because at the beginning I would look at these cards and go, I don't know what that is. Oh, it's got an angel on it.
There's an old guy on there holding a lantern, and that means you need to hold the light.
Yeah, like very just easy answers, which we used to give, or I used to give all the time, and I'd be like, the chariot, you are
a chariot. You're on a journey.
Yeah. But like, there's so much depth to every card, and it's really interesting to learn more about every detail, and sometimes it's not even about the card as a whole. Sometimes you might see
it's true.
Sometimes you're drawn to one thing on the card. So maybe in the Hermit card, as an example, you might be focused on the light only, the lamp that he's holding up, and then you might be coming up thinking, okay, you need to illuminate something here in your thinking and be able to move forward.
Otherwise you'll stay stuck and you won't move at all. We read tarot.
We're tarot readers.
We're tarot readers. Yeah. And we love being tarot readers.
Yes.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. And if you do need a reading, if you do need to reach out to Amber and I, you can look at Amber's website, Glow by Amber, or mine is just my name, which is my name. So
yours is kebrascaking.com.
.com. Yep.
Mine is glowbyamber.com.
.unicorn.
No, .unicorn. Today I'm wearing my unicorn. If anyone's wondering what the hell we're wearing, why we are, because it's Saturday and it's freezing and we want to be warm and comfortable.
So we thought we'd just dress up, and actually
I quite like it actually.
For a while,
yeah, I think we should break out more of our onesies. You've got about 5 million.
I'm super comfortable in onesies.
I am too.
I love them. They're just so warm.
Our cat freaks out a little bit when she sees us in onesies, because she's like, what the hell?
Because I look like a big dragon or a gorilla or a zebra.
She loves unicorns.
She does. Is that all?
Yes. So what I was going to say is, if people are interested in learning more about tarot as well, our teacher always does classes, Nigel Edu, and we've done a podcast with him where you can learn more about what he does and how the things he teaches. We will put a link. We can put a link up to that podcast
in our description. We'll put that in there.
But yeah, we are always interested in learning more on this journey. Yeah.
And also sharing it, which is what this podcast is about for us. It's about sharing the knowledge and information that we go through with you. And so hopefully you may want to go down the road of getting a reading, not necessarily by us, but get some help.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's really normal.
It is. And it's healing, it's reading, and it's healing.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
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 And it will be beneficial. It's such a powerful tool.
It is.
Yeah. Well, now that does bring us to the end of our podcast for Creative Talk for the month of June. Oh my goodness.
We've got some exciting news coming up. We've got more people to interview next month.
We do. Yes.
And stay tuned for somebody special at the end of this month too.
Yes. We've also got a group, young men who have created a beautiful breathwork app who we'll be bringing on board as well.
Yes.
Another healer from New Zealand. And
a tarot reader.
Another tarot reader who actually is one of
the president of the Tarot Guild.
For the Australian Tarot Guild.
Yes. So
very honoured to have her.
And she knows all about tarot. So if you have any questions you want answered about tarot, she's your lady.
We might do a giveaway during her session. Yeah, we'll have a think about what we can do. But I think we should do one of those mats. Give it away.
Oh yeah, one of those mats.
I've got one.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
We'll figure it out.
Anyway, that's us for another week of Creative Talk. We'll be back next week, this time on a normal time, which will be Thursday, now that we've sorted out all our audio technology issues.
Yeah.
And we'll see you again next week.
All right. Have a good weekend.